logging into the chat room and all that stuff. Well, it's morning time. I'm gonna probably just make a kind of let's see, just a kind of a short live stream this morning. Uh, we did it yesterday, guys. So we accomplished our mission on actually doing the premier, what did you say, the premier marathon yesterday. So that was, the last one was the one that was late on getting that one out because I was still editing it. And I totally misjudged. I thought I was like, oh, I'll get this one done in an hour, right? And I'll have it up and everything. But I didn't. It was just, I should have known better because I've been doing this long enough where I could have easily thought just like, hang on, let me do some things real quick. I should have known that even though the upload itself would have been an hour and a half. So, yeah, so I just misjudged it. So I could have probably technically put it out by 9 o'clock, but the thing is I figured just give an hour notice to everybody for the last one. So that got us completely caught up to this present point and here in this hostel. So this is my hostel, guys, if you haven't seen it, with the drawings on the walls and the Kiki. There's Kiki. And that's pretty well the only spot to sit and put my phone, so that's why you guys get the beautiful look of the bookcase behind me. So anyway, yeah, so we caught up on, so yesterday, I know Ali, you were asking what I was doing and stuff like that, if I had a chance to actually go out and figure out where the parade's gonna be at or look into anything like, you know, what was it, that cruise slash, you know, all that. No, I didn't, because yesterday was all about upload, making the thumbnails for them, which even though I'm getting faster at it, I'm still slow at it, because I had to use different platforms. I'm trying to do the free, right? And free means usually limited before they like to charge you. So I usually use ChatGPT. ChatGPT seems to be the well-developed AI program out of them all because it remembers the things you tell it, right? Where Grok is a little on the retarded side. Grok is still small Grok, not big Grok yet. And Grok's always been retarded if you know the movie or the movie reference. He's that big tree thing. Anyway. So yeah, basically I just, it seems so much easier. It's like, I just tell it, you know, I tell ChatGPT, it's like, hey, I need an idea for a title and a thumbnail, right? And it spits out several, and then I just choose, you know, but the thumbnail markup is, you know, it only sends out one thumbnail markup, but then I had to tell it, you can't have anything in the lower right-hand corner because that's where YouTube puts the duration, right? And it goes, oh, okay, but then it remembers it, where Grok will just forget that information and start new. Like I told ChatGPT, I said, well, on the lettering, you know, on the thumbnails, it needs to be 4 or less, you know, words, always 4 or less words, and I remembered that. And I said, I prefer to always have 4 or less elements on the thumbnail, you know, so like hammock, bicycle, you know, so 4 elements. But then it ends up being more than that anyway, because I put a picture of myself in there and stuff like this. So, but it remembers these things. So it's just makes ChatGPT the easier one to actually get along with. Gemini doesn't do like drawings and stuff like that. And any suggestions on any of the other ones of how you guys actually make thumbnails? I mean, Canva is a hard one, but the Canva is actually a pretty good drawer. But I've noticed something about the AI. So the misspelling of, what was it, on one of my thumbnails where it should have been an N instead of an M. Yeah, that was the AI. AI doesn't misspell when it's talking to you, but when it's drawing words, it misspells the words when it draws it. A lot. I mean, a lot. Not like a small amount, but you're talking like, I'd say like 10%. That's 1 out of 10. That's a lot. And yeah, especially when it redraws something several times, it just gets worse and worse. So I don't think it's spelling anything out when it's a thumbnail. It's just drawing the letters, and so yeah, Doug. Hey, Doug's there. Congratulations on the marathon yesterday. I was just on a channel that posts just one 20-minute video per month. Yeah, and then American Hobo posts 18 hours in one day. I had to catch everybody up, Doug. I mean, so doing this live stream, it was okay before I went out camping, right? Because everybody's like, "Oh, this is kind of cool," because I think it was the Nasi Beach, Ninasi Beach was the last one, or like, oh, it's like a preview. The live stream's like the preview of the video that you're going to upload, right? And well, that was that first night. I was able to upload that one video, but then I couldn't do that afterwards. And I just kept getting farther and farther and farther behind. So it was just like more than 2 days behind. It's like a time warp on their brain, or like, I can't figure this out, So yeah, I had to do the marathon. And dude, that spot was awesome. Honestly, the Gosong Beach, that was just awesome. It was the location, everything was perfect. You know what I'm saying? It had everything you needed without an abundance. It did have restaurants and stuff, but most of the restaurants were closed just because there's no point in opening up. If you want something to eat, just go up and tell them. They'll probably cook you up something, but they're not going to have everything set out and everything, going if there's no one there. And that park I was right next to, it was brand new. Everything was brand new, and the cleaning crew was there all day long. And those two big dumpsters, so I figured out what those two big dumpsters were for. That was the cleanup crew. So when I went there originally, one of the dumpsters was just full of all yellow bags. So if they're all yellow bags, that means that's one concentrated effort of one, just of cleaning, because they're all using the same bag. So I'm not sure if those are paid employees coming in, or if those are just the locals. I'm pretty sure the locals would get like an incentive for doing all that stuff too. Get paid. I'm not sure how it works here, but I saw that cleaning up. Well, I videotaped some of it. That conservative, what's the word I'm thinking of? Anyway, everybody getting together and actually, cleaning the beaches and stuff. That was pretty well all along the way, and I know it's for the 31st coming up. So, but that spot was awesome. It really was. The small street food, just a little bit. Small grocery store, a few restaurants, and then no one really said boo to me the whole time. Yeah, that's crazy. I wasn't sure how, so let's see, that was like 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and then the 6 o'clock didn't make it because I was still editing, so that postponed to 9 o'clock. So that was 4 plus a live stream. I must have really confused YouTube over there, They're probably wondering what's going on, because not all of those videos, all the videos are over a half an hour each, so yeah, but I just enjoyed it. It was, especially with the cloud, how the clouds were and stuff like this, and the lightning coming in and stuff. And it never super rained on me. Now the wind was always out there. You could hear it in the background, which I'm gonna be more mindful for that in the future. I didn't notice it because I didn't have my earbuds. So I didn't notice the wind whipping, so I just went through the editing And I didn't pick that up because obviously you can't pick up the wind from the sound if the wind's already going around you. You know what I'm saying? So it just gets. So I didn't notice that until watching the videos on the Premiere. So I do have two of the little wind guards for my mic, and I just have to remember anytime I'm outside and in the wilderness more than in the city, which was mentioned by one of y'all. Just I'll be more mindful that I need the mic on with the wind guard. In the city, probably not so much. It's just that's an extra step. You know what I'm saying? It's like one is stopping the bicycle, right, and then taking out then turning it on and all that, and going and then putting it all back. But now, if I want to say something, you know, putting the mic on. So I'll try and increase my usage with those things, just because I know sound quality is a lot more better, is a lot more important than picture quality. So there are NGOs doing community services, companies doing CSR programs. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. You know, a lot of times, like who's doing basically. He's talking about who's probably doing all the cleanup and stuff. I'm pretty sure you just pay the community to do it. You know what I'm saying? Bring out the garbage cans, drop the garbage cans, and you know, because to try and get all that, to try and rely on just volunteers, the work would never get done. I mean, some of it would, but not to the extent of how clean it's really getting. And I see these people just sitting out there in their vests all day long. So, you know, if it was a volunteer thing, you would just go out for a few hours and leave. But these people are like posting up shop. So like the park right next to me, those guys were there all day. I mean, all day, just kind of sitting on their phone and, you know, and doing whatnot. And it was kind of cool though, because it was a 1 ringgit shower with a toilet. It closed, I do believe, at 6 though. So you had to get in and wash off before 6 or something. But no one manned. It was just like a little drop box. So you just drop your money into the drop box. And yeah, I just liked it. You didn't have to get on the main road to get to the grocery store. You could just take that little back road, brand new little back road, and then right over to the store, and then take the back road right back. And yeah, you didn't need to really even get on the main road except for maybe like 50 feet of it. And so if you guys ever want to know where to pack up the kids and take out a vacation, that spot's an awesome spot. It really is. If you want to just to have a spot, and I noticed, like I said, I noticed the old fire pits. Not, you know, people are just digging a hole in the sand, having a fire, and then reburying it. And sometimes that the charcoal comes up to the top. So I started noticing after the rain, I started noticing little spots where, yeah, someone just buried the fire pit. So people do camp out there. I mean, why not, man? The beach was awesome. But you go down a little farther to the so-called camping spot down by the boot camp, the closed down boot camp. You can see that the concentrated effort to actually clean up the beach has not reached that far. So, so yeah, today, a little bit of rain, that's all. And so I'm just happy all this stuff is caught up. And yesterday, guys, I had about 5 gigs of, I'll tell you exactly what was on that 5 gigs for yesterday's. Like, it's not enough to put on a video, because the whole day was premieres, thumbnails, making thumbnails, and editing one video. And so all I did yesterday was I went out and did my laundry, so all my clothes are clean now, except for what I'm wearing, but were already clean when I put them on. And then I got something to eat, some good Indian food right across the street, street food, but you know, that spicy curry. I'm a fan of. I've always been a fan of Indian food, though. I really do like Indian food. So that was it. That was 5 gigs of me doing laundry, and I'm pretty sure the only person that wants to watch that is Ali. Kind of strange there, Ali. Like, you like watching me do chores. But anyway, guys, yeah, I just wanted to hop on. I wanted to make sure I hopped in and said hi to everyone. They keep up on this daily. That way, you guys can always expect, even if it's just me popping in and say, "Good morning, y'all." Cup of coffee. Um, then at least you got, I'm reliable about that. Now, is there ever going to be a time I don't do the live stream? Yeah, probably. But I'll at least get on. I'll wake up and say, "Hey guys, I can't do a live stream," and I'll post something in the post. I know the posts don't go out to everyone because I was just watching a guy who is actually just practical advice on YouTube. He's starting to become my favorite one, and he was talking about the people that post what was it called? New channels or small channels gather here, right? And you see that everywhere, and then you see people in there, and it's basically a sub for sub, and a sub for sub is basically it's like you subscribe to my channel, I'll subscribe to you, right? It's basic, and it's not really tolerated by YouTube. They don't like that, but they tolerate the small channels gather here type thing. But that's just code for like sub for sub. And he was trying to talk about how destructive that is to your channel, because that on the surface level it seems like it's a good idea. Like, I subscribe to you, you subscribe to me, we'll build up the channel. But then you have a lot of people that are not engaging, that are subscribed to you, but not engaging in your content. So you can't reach the viewing hours. And even if you do get monetized, you're not going to make money because you have so many of your subscriber base is not engaging, just subscribed. And he says it can be really destructive to your channel. Like, if you start your channel very early and you do that, and you engage in that practice, you get too many of that, then you're never going to get your watch hours, and if you do. And he said sometimes it's best just to give up on a channel if you think you have too many of those people. And I'm just hoping the non-engagement of my channel is lower, but I can pretty well tell from the live stream that I got about 300 consistent views. So I can use the live stream as the engagement level. So I know at least I have consistently 300 people that, that are pretty good at watching out of 2,000. But then I have also the Malaysian bump. So a lot of my Malaysian videos are getting up around 1,000 and stuff, which is awesome, man. It's super awesome. But so I don't think I have an over and abundance of those people. But the fact is anytime I put out a live, like, I think I got a lot of them early on in my, when it's like in 3 days I got like 600, 700 subscribers. I went from 300 subscribers, bam, up to 1,000. I'm like, wow, and that was like in 3 days. So I think a lot of those are non-engaging subscribers. So so anytime I post something, I think YouTube only sends out about 1,000, of your posts, and that's usually just to your subscriber base. And if a lot of them are non-engaging, they might be getting it, and that might be one of the reasons that some of you guys are not getting my post until like the next day or something. So I don't know if there's anything I can do about that. It's just, you came in after the non-engaging party already subscribed. And some people do it just because of the name. American Hobo sounds good, but then my content doesn't necessarily match my title, because American Hobo is what I am. That's just a descriptive title, who I am. I'm an American, and I'm an old hobo from the United States. But am I riding the trains back in the United States? No. I'm riding a bicycle around Southeast Asia. So the title versus what I'm actually doing doesn't really line up. So anyway, guys, I'm sorry I'm not ignoring you guys here. What do we got? Camping in Paradise inspired that marathon. Camping in Paradise it inspired it. It didn't inspire it. It was like made it necessary to catch up. Yes, being a YouTuber can mess with your head. Yes, being a YouTuber, this is Doug, it can mess with your head. You end up living in a different timeline, and if you live stream and mix them with older videos, your brain starts to melt. Where am I? When am I? I do that too when I talk on the video. I'm like, oh yeah, by the time you reach this point, what I'm talking about, you've already watched, but I'm engaging like you guys, like with the video, I'm engaging like it's real time, like you guys are watching me live, which probably doesn't make any sense when you're watching one of my videos. So I have to try and remember that once in a while. Well, I didn't know it. So Doug says, Ali and me, I love daily chores, errands, videos. I always like to see a new laundromat. Well, good, because those days have to get mixed in, because I eventually have to stop and try and get some of these things done. Like, I'm going to stay here for a little bit. So even if it's not at this hostel, I'll go stay at the other cheap hostel. Because I just need to do things. I need to try and get a hold of my bank, and that's going to take probably all day. Because I need to talk to the IT, try and see how I can crack into the application and reinstall it on my new phone without using a second, the app, so without using the phone call, the phone number as a second step verification and stuff. And I don't know how I'm going to do that, but I'm pretty sure they can help me figure it out. Yeah, fried bananas is perfect because it's everywhere. Fried bananas. So Flea was writing, what is it, goring? Goring is banana. But yeah, it seems to be my favorite food. Yeah, the first time I ate it was in Vietnam. They're awesome because, bananas and chocolate milk, man. That's like the fuel you need. And it's a good, pick-me-up. So once I started seeing fried bananas was just universal everywhere. Cambodia, Thailand, is a go-to street food, and it's cheap. Yeah, no, fried bananas are awesome, man. I do like them, and they're a good little breakfast thing. Hey, what's up, Hitlet? I'm probably, I noticed the other day, I thought it was Hitlet, but then I noticed there's an I in between. So like a hit eye lit. So I guess I can't ask you how it's pronounced over this, but I'll just keep calling you hit lit, and you can just cringe if you almost made it, Tom. Tom's in the room. 19 minutes. Well, I hate to tell you, Tom, I'm not gonna do an hour one today. I'll probably cut it off after a half an hour, but I'm just catching everybody up. Yeah, after that marathon yesterday, I was surprised some people actually, Ollie's actually sat through them all, and Flea sat through them all. Hitlet, I think, made the majority of them. Doug, I think, had to step out on one of them. I didn't see him. Maybe I didn't. I don't remember. But yeah, I was surprised how many people actually, how many people were rolling with me, through the whole day, because that was a whole day, man. Honestly, that was a whole day. Okay, it says I was watching August 25 live, trying to catch up. Not put what day it is after that. Can you not put what day it is after that? Oh, you mean which day it is? Yeah, I could go back through and figure out and just retitle them. Not retitle them, but throw in the day. I'll do that later though, because right off the bat, it's like keeping track of what day it is in my head. Like right now, I think I'm on 76, but I don't know, so I have to get on my videos, figure out what was last day, was yesterday, figure out which day it was, and it's like that day to day. I just don't remember. You're like, oh, well, just remember what yesterday was, and I don't do that. As soon as I write, I'm done editing, I forget what day it is. So yeah, I can go back through and put down the day so it lines up with the videos better. So the live stream lines up with the videos. I'll just have to go in and figure out, make sure which day it was. That way I'm not off, because that'll probably help straighten out the timeline a little. Yeah, so that'll just be a process. So I'll go back through and do that, Tom. Okay, pisang is banana. Goreng is just fried. Okay, that's good. Okay, I thought it was the opposite, actually. I thought goreng was the banana. Okay, pisang is banana. Yeah, I had the something like yeah. I had Tom says he roasted sesame seeds in the batter of the fried bananas. I think that must have been what I had too, because I thought it was like the seeds of the banana. And you're gonna say bananas do actually have seeds, but usually they don't get that big and that obvious. So it must have been sesame seeds that I was seeing. Yeah, I know a lot of people are gonna say bananas don't have seeds. Yeah, they do actually. I mean, at least I'm pretty. Maybe, you know what? I'm gonna back up. I'm really good at being wrong. I better double check that. I'm pretty sure bananas don't have seeds. But for some reason, it's in my mind that like when a banana starts getting old. No, I guess I don't know. Do bananas have seeds? Now I'm confusing myself. Anyway, I'm gonna step out of that conversation. I'm losing an argument with myself. That's pretty bad. Oh man, I just lost an argument with myself. Well, hey, I'm Terry. Hi, I'm Terry. I'm live in Taiwan. Terry. Yeah, hit on your channel and stuff. I'm assuming that's you. You do rap music, right? You do hip hop. I'm assuming that's you. I've checked out your channel a few times. I just wasn't sure if you're faceless on your channel or not. Those videos of yours and stuff like that, I wasn't sure if that was actually you or not. Because you know some people are like faceless on their channel and just interviewing the same person over and over again. So yeah, I have actually dropped by your channel a few times. I wasn't quite sure if that was you or not. I assumed that was you, but you know I could be wrong. Okay, so you are faceless on that. That's none of those people are you then. It's a fan channel for my favorite content. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, cool. Yeah, I got you. So it's just that's awesome. Personally, I'm a Andre Nicotina fan. I know you're gonna hate me for saying that, but I am an Andre Nicotina fan. Man, so watching one design. Yeah, looks like a little live title. Just date. If you put what day it is on the live, you know what day it is. Yeah. No, I agree with you on that, Tom. I'll try and put in the days. That'll help clear up the issue of not knowing. Future ones would make it easier. Well, no, I'll go through the old ones too, Tom. I'll go through because I don't have a whole lot of backlogging. So if I pretty it up now, then it'll make more sense for anybody that wants to do both content together. So it's a great idea. It's just one of those short things I should get done now because it'll just help everybody out. I think, yeah. So it's a good suggestion. Thank you, Tom. Okay, guys. Are we hitting about a half an hour? We are. I'm gonna probably get up. Although I love to crawl back in bed and just curl up because it's AC here. So, which is, and I'm gonna stay. So you guys know my plans. I'm staying for the fair on the first, and then I'm gonna probably relocate on the first over to the other hostel since I have my bicycle. Like I said, someone tried to. I don't know what their problem with my bicycle was. Maybe it was the location being under the stairs, and that's like where they like to climb into and curl up to get out of the rain or something. So I doubt it, but I think it was just a tweaker, like and didn't like my bicycle. So anyway, yeah. So luckily I had it locked. I was gonna bring it up last night. I was like, nah, it's still just a cheap bicycle. You know what I'm saying? I think the lock cost about 1/6 of what I actually paid for my bicycle. So if they want to do damage, let them do damage. It's a cheap bicycle, but it is locked up to the pole out there. So they did steal my little air pump that doesn't work. That little crappy one. I'm like, well, they made the decision for me. Now I don't have to throw it away. They're probably like, I can make a pipe out of this. That's probably what they were thinking because it kind of looks like you could make a pipe out of it. But yeah, and that's what it is like, I need to do some homework too today. So like the small things, like I need to learn how to change around. I need to get on, change around. That's a problem right there. I have to figure out how to turn my cameras around so they're no longer doing the mirror effect. And I have a list of these things that I need to catch up on. I need to go get the digi-card. The U-Mobile sucks. So I put the U-Mobile through a speed test along with the Hot Links. Hot Links destroys U-Mobile. U-Mobile stinks, and they're about the same price. So unfortunately, it's just like, yeah, it's like they start U-Mobile at capped. I'm supposed to be getting 200 gigs uncapped, but yeah, it's not. It's either that or they only pay for like one tower in the whole city. Because I'm in a city, it should be doing good. And then I just had to figure out exactly all the stuff I need to do and catch up. But I also need to slow down because, like someone mentioned, you're going to be done in a week. I'm like, yeah, I got 3 months. So I'm not here to like travel through country because I have no goal. I mean, I have a goal in world travel, but thing is it's not really the travel. It's just living in the world, not living in just the United States, but living in the whole world. And that requires me to stay as long as my visa allows me to. Because once I start moving too fast, that's when the money starts racking up. Well, not so much on the bicycle. The bicycle is saving me a lot of money. And I'm not sure if you guys know, Hidden Hammock just put out a video the other day. He's got a lot of engagement with the locals, and I admire him for that because being like an introvert and stuff, that's like fingernails on the chalkboard to me. Any of that social interaction too much, especially when it has to be, not so much like I can go up and I have no problems with interacting with a person, but once the camera's involved and stuff like this, I start getting self-conscious and stuff like this about their privacy issues and stuff like this, and I'm over analyzing everything. But I do the same thing when I'm camping. I'm thinking about cops, I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about that. But the fact is this is Southeast Asia. It's very common people just camp along the beaches and camp everywhere and stuff. And I'm coming from people like, oh, you're coming from an American mindset. Well, no, this is a mindset that's just kind of it's part of my character. You know what I'm saying? Is because, and this is why I was such a big alcoholic, is because the alcohol dissolved a lot of those social anxieties and the fears and stuff. And once I got drunk enough, I could just ball up into like underneath any old set of stairs or under a porch or something if it was raining. And I became an alley sleeper. I mean, because I could just roll up anywhere and fall asleep. I carried around a tarp just in case it rained, and I just do a burrito roll. Not even make a lean-to, just wrap up in the tarp, flop over, and in the morning I'm ready to roll. And it was just a consistent wake up, drink, and at the end of the day, I'd space it along, not not like go until I passed out, but I would drink through the whole day. So I was a functioning alcoholic, and that I was functioning alcoholic because when I discovered when I was younger that alcohol allowed me to communicate with girls a lot easier, and and guys too. Just what I'm saying. It got that because I've always been shy and reclusive. It's just like especially around the opposite sex. So when that opposite sex started paying attention to me and started all this when I was younger, I started like becoming popular, but popular skateboarder. But the fact is that inner person was still very scared, and so that alcohol allowed me to get over that fear factor and pay attention to the girls back, and so what happened was I ended up, using alcohol as a tool to get over my social anxiety and just being shy as a person inside. So that continued on, and just continued on and continued on. By the time I decided to go to Vegas and become a car dealer and all this, well, that's the wrong town to go to when you start abusing, alcohol. Well, I'm not going to say abusing alcohol. I was, to me, it wasn't abusing alcohol. It was just, it was a way that I functioned. And so that's how alcohol became such a big part of my life, is because I used it so that I could get over this. So now that I don't have alcohol and stuff like that in my life, I have that tendency still there. So when people are like, oh, you need to interact with the people more, and you need to do this, and you need to do that, right? The fact is, I feel very uncomfortable doing that. Like what I'm saying is, I can actually, say, hey, what's up, brother, being very nice and stuff like this. I don't mind the interaction amongst the people, in smaller groups and stuff like this. But it just remember, it's going against my character and stuff like that. And so there's that little bit where if I'm just filming stuff on the bicycle in nature, that's not there. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that interaction thing is a lot to do with me. So it's not just because the whole process that I need to take out the camera and stuff. That's probably more of an excuse. The fact is I just feel uncomfortable a lot of times doing that. And so that's just an issue that I struggle with, and it's nothing new. It's been with me my whole life, and so I apologize on that. It's just that's how I am, and if I try and push myself too far out of my character, who I am, well then I'm just going to be giving you content that's fake. I'm going to be showing you a character that's not real, and then people later on down the line's going to see that character and think that's actually who I am, and subscribe to my channel and all this stuff, and then I have to keep up that fake character. So it's better to be real now and let everybody know who I am now. That way there's no hidden fees, you might say, that then my subscriber base will be the people that are subscribing to my material the way that I am, honestly, and and this is who I honestly am. So I don't mind being real on that. I don't mind actually telling you guys, because I definitely don't want to go down the path of trying to be someone I'm not, because then I have to keep that up, and eventually I won't want to keep it up anymore. So anyway, guys, that's more or less the reason why. So when I see someone like Hidden Hammock or something, natural, man. I mean, like his whole so I give it up for Josh. He's, Josh has been supporting my channel from early on, so, and helping me out because, he's had a channel a lot longer than me. But yeah, he's riding his bicycle through Vietnam. I think he's over in Cat Ba Island, so he's doing pretty well, a lot of the same route. I'm like, how did you get to Hanoi over to Halong? You're going the wrong way. I thought you were going south. So I don't know exactly how he got over there, but he's doing an awesome route. Cat Ba Island is awesome, man. That's where they filmed King Kong, the new one. Anyway, let's see what I'm losing out here on. Flea, it's not that easy. Okay, Flea, it says turn off the mirror control on the camera setting. Yeah, you would think so, right? It would be that easy. It's not that easy. It's First off, you can do turn off the selfie on the Samsung on the pictures, but under the actual video, it's not listed. So I had to figure out where it's actually listed. So I had to go just try and figure. It's not. Yeah, it's not that easy. It's not. There's no mirror button. Yeah, there's. It's just not there. But it probably is there. It's either listed under a different name or something. But yeah, it's not like I flipped them off in the past. It's just this one's a little harder to find. I found the one for the actual taking still shots, just not the actual video. So yeah, that's what I mean. I need to figure out. So I just need to get on like YouTube, look it up, and then it'll probably be something like, okay, that was fairly easy. But I think they just renamed it because the actual still shots is called as is. You know, it's like as is. It's like show videos or show pictures as is without reversing. And you're like, okay, what do you mean as is? So should I flip it this way or that way? Because are you meaning as is, like, you know? So it's, yeah. So I have it flipped on the regular pictures. I just haven't figured out the videos because that buttons and that toggle switch isn't there on the videos. Yeah, like, yeah, it's just a new phone, so I have to rediscover it. Yeah, so Flea, the reason why I'm doing the coastal route is one, because it's less hard to get lost. One, it's flatter. Coastal route compared to mountainous routes. So like in northern Vietnam, I skipped all of Hagayong and all that. I did that on scooter. I have some of those videos. I should probably let you guys see them sometime. And then Cao Bang, I went over to Cao Bang, did that loop is like a figure eight. You can do it yourself. Not as many police there trying to get their 2 million, you know, or 3 million dong payoff, you know. So the other one, you have to do an easy rider. You got to sit on the back because you're gonna get fined. That's how the cops make the money down there, is through payoffs. So what it is you like, so Hagayong loop is a very famous loop. If you go there, you will have to pay like 3 million, I think it is 3 million dong, which comes out. It's a little expensive, but I had to remember. But but it's about the same price as doing an easy rider. So if you're willing to pay that, just go up. Pay them the 3 million or 2 million or negotiate. I know one person negotiated it to 1 million. They take a picture of you. You go into their WhatsApp group, right? And your picture of your scooter and stuff is in that WhatsApp group, and you won't get pulled over anymore. You're free to ride the loop as much as you want. So it's a system that they have in place there that they can all make money that way. I know some people say it's crooked, but not if it's established. You know, once something's crooked when it's not established, but once it's established, then it's no longer seen as crooked. Property taxes. So, you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, it's established. Income taxes, you know, and that's established. You know, it's no longer crooked. So anyway, yeah. So that was all mountainous region. That's why I waited until I got down to Kabong, which is the waterfalls along it shares the border with China, and then I just rode down to the coast. So I've just been doing the coast just because it's a flatter route, not as much uphill and downhill and all that fun stuff. So, so there is still a lot of peninsula you have not seen. There's not a whole lot of peninsula. There's like of this peninsula, no. There's only about, look where I'm at. I don't have much of the peninsula left. So I'll just go up to the peninsula and then cut across, and then I'll be back on the west side of the island, and then I could, if I want to. But the thing is, I want to stay the 3 months, because after that, I'm going to catch probably a ferry over to Indonesia and do Sumatra. I'm planning on maybe bring my bicycle just so I can right out to the mouth of the river, but I would like to do the 600 kilometers raft trip down the, I can't remember the name of the river again, right off the top of my head. Let's see, longest rafting river in Sumatra. Batanghari River, which is the Hangtaria River. I looked at where it actually starts. It gets thinner and thinner as you go up the mountains, but it's something like is that it? Yeah. But it goes on for about 600 kilometers. If I want to throw up for something different, do a rafting trip down that for 600 kilometers, it would be nice. Also, if you guys don't know, there's a guy called Vagabond. He's been kind of inspiring me to hop trains here internationally, because that's what he does. And he doesn't look like a train rider, but he's hopped the train in Sumatra, he's hopped the train in, I think, Thailand, so he's been riding a lot of coal cars, and coal cars are dirty, man. I don't like the gondolas. You know, the gondolas are like the ones that you climb up the side, and they just dump like scrap metal and different things like that into the bottom, and it's a dirty ride. I prefer the grainers and stuff like that, what we call the centerfolds. You can walk into the back, you climb up a little small ladder. There's usually like a little, almost like a little flat patio, and then there's a hole in the back, and usually you climb into the back of the hole, and it's a good enough size that you can have your gear and stuff, and you can lay down until you get out of the yard, if you're catching in the yard. If you're catching out in the yard, you can, or if you're going into the yard, you can just kind of lay down there, and you know, sometimes they operate the cameras, but there's a higher chance of actually being seen by the bull than there is by the cameras, but unless you're hanging off the back. Anyway, yeah, he's kind of, so Vagabond, if you go check his channel out, he's been doing a lot of these places, doing the train and stuff, and I've been kind of thinking about doing that. And like I said, I'm just, you know, I mean, I do like the bicycle though. Honestly, I do. Bicycling is a pretty awesome way to see everything. And yeah. And like I said, I mentioned Josh. Go check his video out, his last one. See his interaction with the people, man. He is partying it up with the over in Vietnam with the locals. Yeah, so I kind of envious of that. Brother's doing good. So. There's still a lot more open to shoot for. Yeah, I just talked about that, Tom. Yeah, we're on the same page about staying in the same, because that's when you're living in in the countries. Yeah, you want to stay as long as possible. In which I have been. The only one I haven't really, I just took advantage of the fact, I still had a month on my visa, but I took advantage of the fact that Singapore was so close and someone was already going to do a visa run there. So I was like, you know what, I'll just, you know, I can tag along, since he already had all the information and stuff. And the hostel, the homestay I was staying at, they had a printout of how to do it. You know, it's like, get on this bus, do this, do that, and come back. And so I was like, yeah, I mean, I'd regret not doing it. So I got 3 more months now. So. The beach life, so everyone has a different opinion about what you should do. Only do what you want to do, make only the decision to make your yeah, no, I'm still gonna do what I want to do. I definitely hit this. I'm always gonna be doing what am I gonna do is whatever's easiest, honestly. And the shoreline is just a little bit better, you know. But eventually, you know, I don't mind taking a trip into the mountains, but you're gonna get more jungle, right? So you're gonna get more animals, to be worried about, and lions, cobras, the chances are a little higher of being excluded, and being, kind of no signal and stuff like that. Higher chance of being mugged. It's just how it is. It's like being on a border city, in border cities, there's a greater likelihood out in the middle of nowhere. I'm just saying generally, across the board, being in the mountains, sometimes it's easier to, but also the uphill, downhill, and stuff like that. But now the payoff is camping is good. It's just harder to locate a spot that's safe. Where down by the shoreline, you're going to have less thick jungle to beat through. I'll definitely be doing mountain ranges, but it's just I've been doing the coastline because it's easier, honestly. And since you have the coast on one side, you don't have much option. You just follow the route that's here. Where if you take off into the mountains, there's a greater chance of getting lost or doing a double back or going up a mountain that you didn't need to do. I did that a lot in Japan. Try to take a shortcut and end up climbing up a mountain. Yeah. And I have a bad tendency to push forward even when things start getting dangerous. That's why I got kind of got lost on that hillside, but I wasn't lost. I just made some bad decisions that caused my hike to be longer. Because you can't really get lost on a peninsula when you have roads on either side of you. You just walk to a road, get on the road, and walk out. So it wasn't technically. I wasn't in a dangerous situation, but I didn't have water. Thing is, I got to the road one time, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to take this access road instead. I could have just taken the main road all the way out, turned and come all the way around and then come all the way back. But I was like, no, I'm just going to take this access in hopes that it goes over the hill again. And it did. It took me right back to the top, which was kind of, and so it was, yeah, I shouldn't have taken the bicycle path down and stuff. So it was just a bad decision. But I was never in a situation that I was lost, because I could have at any time just taken one of the trails right out. You know what I'm saying? I just ended up on a wrong trail going the wrong direction a few times. So that was more or less it. And like each time I tried to correct the wrong direction, would just take me off into a kind of different wrong direction. So yeah, but it was never a life or death type of situation. It was not that bad. You might take to travel, meeting people, to work on real time. Working on that whole being a recluse and stuff, or an introvert and getting over the social anxiety thing, it doesn't work. I've been doing it long enough. Like I worked in Vegas, so having that many people interaction with you directly, if that didn't solve it, then it never is going to be solved. It's just something that you struggle with. You learn to ignore it, and you learn to go against those, like that uncomfortableness and stuff like that, Tom. You learn to push through it, but it never is not something that you're going to be cured of. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll tell you what it is. It's like in Vegas, I used to go to Walmart at nighttime and do my shopping just because during the daytime it was like a lot of Hispanics, old people, like this, and the Hispanics had all their kids around and stuff like this. The old people were just, shuffling along and getting lost with their shopping carts and stuff. And eventually I just couldn't do it anymore. I'm like, I just leave my shopping cart and storm on out and come back at night when not everybody was there. So it's like the big groups of people get to me and stuff like that. It's just the smaller groups of people. It's not that I dislike people. I just like my own people. My people I like. And so, yeah, it's not going to really get any better. It's just all I can do is, fake it better, so. So I'm just catching up on some of the comments here, make sure I'm not overlooking anything, I'm not ignoring anything. Train backpacking on the bicycle is harder. The bicycling actually is nice because it allows me just to zone out. I ran into that during the Camino. Now the Camino is a good social, trail, but at the same time everybody has to hike the Camino at their own speed. You can't hike it at someone else's speed. But you get to know the groups that you're with, because even if you walk faster or slower than that group, you usually always end up in the same albergues after you're done. And you get to know the people because you're about 35 days of walking, right? So you are actually doing about 30 kilometers a day. I wouldn't go much more than that if you don't want blisters. But there's that social interaction with less people, with coffee shops and stuff like this. And definitely, if you guys never did a Camino, you have to do a Camino. I honestly, now I didn't do it for spiritual reasons, and only at the beginning of the trail will anybody ask you, why are you doing it? Because after about a week, it doesn't really matter why you're doing it. You're just on the trail hiking. But there's a relaxation and stuff like this, especially if you come from a working world, where every day you have to get up and you have to do this and you have to do that and you have to do this, and that constant makes you not want to get out of bed, because when you get out of bed, you have to do stuff all day long. That's not there anymore. All you have to do is get up and just start walking, and then you can't do anything else, so you just get up, walk, find something to eat because it's right there on the trail, coffee, they have a lot of the ham sandwiches with the the toast. It's a stale bun with ham on it. They're called tapas, and they're just basically bar food. But I just get an egg one. They have a egg with potato cut into it and stuff. That's their omelets. That was a good one. But yeah, just every day for 35 days, just walking. So it's pretty awesome. It opens your eyes to traveling long distances, doing something like walking. Walking was always the last thing I did as a traveler. It was always trains not there, hitchhiking. If hitchhiking's not there, then you take your sign, you're basically where you're going. So you write with your black marker where you're going, put that on the back of your backpack, and just start walking. That way when someone drives by you, they see where you're going. If they're going in that direction, they'll pull over and pick you up. So you never walk for too long. But sometimes you're just in a bad area for hitchhiking, like in a place that has a state prison, Any spot that has a prison in it, you're not going to get a ride out. You might as well just start walking. All right, let's see. Yeah, sorry, Flea, I misspoke. Yeah, it's not lions, it's tigers. I hear about tigers. That's the only reason. If tigers are rare, that's good, because I grew up around mountain lions, and mountain lions are not something that was something that you check the scat. The scat's the poop, and if you see that, and you get to know bear poop and cat crap, because those are ones you don't really like. As many times yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna do it. Because I'm gonna have so much time after I'm done circling the thing, Malaysia, and I'm gonna start checking out some of these interior roads. I'm not saying I'm not doing it. No, I'm doing it. Right now I'm just doing the whole circle, and once I had to take that road along the border up there across, and then I'll be over, I think, in Ali's neck of the woods. And then I'll probably start planning out with the interior routes, though. It's more, I can't do what I'm doing. Like, I can't just get up and start following the coastal road. I had to map out which roads I want a little bit better. Look on Street View, if there's a Street View, and see if there's like a shoulder, stuff like that. I'll have to investigate spend a little more time on which route I'm actually taking. Once I start hitting the coastal ones, the interiors. But yes, I'm definitely going to. I'm not saying I'm not going to. So, railway interchange between East and West Coast. Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna start doing some investigation on the railways and stuff like that and get back to being a real hobo. Um, I saw one video is walk from Singapore to, yeah. No, some people, yeah, Singapore, walking from Singapore to KL. Oh, to KL. I thought I was thinking JB, I feel like for work or something. From Singapore to KL. I don't know how it would be walking. There's no real established trails. I don't know. I gotta look up the trails, if there's any long trails in Malaysia. I haven't done that. But right now, once you kind of go bicycle, you don't really go back to walk. Because I started walking one time and I'm like, man, this feels so slow. You know, it was like, this feels really slow, just like, you know, so it's like, once you start bicycling, you realize you kind of spoil yourself. It's like going, if you start riding an electric bike, you spoil yourself from actually riding a normal bike because you're going twice as fast with, you know, with like only a tenth of the energy. Electric bikes are pretty awesome though, especially if you get one of the off-road ones that get up to 70 miles per hour. Most of them cap out though around 30, I think. But there's usually a cord on the inside that's with a regulator. It's like a limiter that stops you at the legal speed. Usually you can clip that and then it just goes as fast as you know, that the motor will allow you. It's just, yeah. Okay guys, it's been an hour. I gotta turn this off, guys. I'm sorry that I thought it was only gonna be a half an hour. Hey, thanks everyone. I'm surprised that 14 actually stuck around for me rambling on like this. But today I'm gonna I don't know, I'm gonna get my DigiCard, but I don't know. I'll have to sit down and figure out what I need to do. I need to do some homework on YouTube, catch up and figure out how to turn the mirror effect off and stuff. But honestly, I need to sit down and make up a honey-do list of all the stuff I need to do. All right, guys. So I'll probably need to figure out something to film today, just so I can put out a film. So maybe I'll do that. I'll get off here and try and figure something to do around this area that I can film. And tomorrow is the parade, so I'll have that for tomorrow. And so I don't know, I'll figure out something. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in, and tomorrow 10 o'clock again. But tomorrow will probably be an outside live stream, just because I'll be outside. All right guys, peace out. Good morning everyone.